Rain, rain, don't go away. And I'm glad that I listened to this YouTube clip regarding stoicism en route to San Gabriel yesterday, where I went to a head spa to get a scalp treatment from a viral hair place on TikTok. Let me back up. Let me just throw this in reverse and back up. As many of you know, and if you don't know, let me catch you up. I got a scalp treatment last May to be more specific, and it was life-changing. It was absolutely life-changing. Like, they put all these oils, they steam your scalp, they like do all these things to like stimulate the blood, the movement, the growth. Like it just like my scalp was squeaking. Like they were like, is there a mouse in here? And I was like, no, it's actually my scalp. It's so squeaky clean. Like, and my hair has never been so light, so lustrous, etc. And it's crazy how just like time goes by, is it not? And me and my sister had both been wanting to go to this place that blew up on TikTok. We were like, oh my God, we freaking have to go. Like, people were raving about it. Like, it looked insane. Like, it was like the one I did like on crack. Like, mine was just like a fucking appetizer, and this was like it was an 8-course meal, dessert included, and it wasn't cheese. Like, they were bringing dessert options to the table. So my sister made an appointment for herself. Like, I don't know. It wasn't like, it wasn't not a priority, but it wasn't like something I snapped into action on. And my sister did, and they were like booked 3 months out. So she has an appointment at the end of this month. She made in like November. And so finally I was like, okay, I need to just like make an appointment. Like, my hair was like scaring me. Like, it was struggling. It was just like, it needed a palate cleanser. And I was like, okay, I'm going to freaking make an appointment. Sure enough, there wasn't an appointment available till May. And I was like, my hair simply cannot wait that long. And so I was like, okay, whatever, I'll deal with this later. And then later that night, I was like in bed, and I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to like make one for May, and then like, just hopefully I can get on a wait list or something and go sooner. So I go to make an appointment. This is all so unnecessary. Okay, so I go to make an appointment, and one pops up for the next day. This was on Friday night, and it was like Saturday, 2:30, and I like fucking panicked, and I was like, wait, tomorrow? Like, can I go? I don't know. And I was like, should I do it? And it's like, you have to put a $20 deposit down, so it's not just like, oh, just do it and see. I was like, I don't even know if I can go tomorrow. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go. I go to make it, it's gone, the appointment's gone. And I was like, oh my God, that was such a freaking roller coaster. Like, let me catch my breath. And then I feel like I was like going to the Yelp, and it was like, I feel like I saw someone that was just like, they have cancellations all the time. Like, I just called, and I was like, yeah, I was like, why? Like, I know this is so like old school of me, but it's just like, why can't we just call? Like, I had to, like, my sister is getting me a facial for my birthday. That was like last month, but okay, whatever, fucking whatever. You just like make it online. I was like, can I just call? Like, can I just speak to someone? Like, it's just like, what is this? Okay, so I was like so like just in shambles over that appointment that I missed, that I was like, no, I feel like I'm just gonna call tomorrow and see if I can get in sooner. So I call Saturday, and like, oh my God, this is I can't believe I took it this far, but we're already here and we're almost done. Okay, so this guy was like, actually, because I was trying to go like sometime during this week. Like, I don't know, like I have like some things I'm going to at the end of the week, and I was like, that'd be perfect. Like, parlay my clean scalp, like get the most out of it, And he was like, yeah, we don't have anything next week. He's like, but I actually had a cancellation for tomorrow, which would be Sunday, which was yesterday at 2:30. And again, I'm just like, oh my God, like stop asking me about tomorrow. Like it's because it's not close. It's like a 40-minute drive. Like it's a thing, you know? So I was like, oh my God, okay, I fully understand that it might be gone when I call back, but can I call back? And he was like, yeah. I made a pros and cons list. I had to. I was fucking like paralyzed. I was like, I can't. I made a pros and cons list. The pros won out. And it was just like, actually, it was kind of even. It was kind of an even list. But I feel like what took me over the edge was like, sometimes you just got to do stuff when you can, you know, it's like now. It's like, I don't know what's going to go on next week. I don't know what things are going to come up. It's like, yes, I have things to do tomorrow, but I'm in control right now to the point where I can wrap my day around this in a way that I don't feel like I didn't do enough. Like, whatever. I was like, I feel like I can control this. Like, I have a window of time. I'll make it back by the All-Star game. Like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Like, you just never know what's going to come up. You know, it's like you think like you just know what your week looks like. Let me tell you, you don't. So I called back, definitely thinking it was going to be gone because I just took a little bit too much time with my pros and cons list. But he was like, yeah. And I didn't even have to put a deposit down. So I felt good about that. And then I was like, okay, let me like build my day around this. Like it's at 2:30, so let me work backwards. The All-Star game's at 5. Like I want to have an insanely productive morning. Like I want to go there feeling like I absolutely earned it. Like I left it out all on the floor and now like I get a treat. And so I did just that. Like I woke up at 6:30, did my dream work, went on a hike, came back, showered, wrote for 2 hours, like Duolingo, etc. And then I embarked to San Gabriel, and I had been wanting to watch this like Ryan Holiday, you know, he has written a few books that I've read and like really recommend. Courage is Calling, Ego is the Enemy, Stillness is the Key. Like he really just breaks down kind of stoicism, and I don't know, it's just really helpful. And so he sends out this weekly email, and it had this video of like something about stoicism. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I don't know. Done now. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to this. It was like an 11-minute video. I listened to it in the car. Literally, if you were just coming in now to this story, you'd be caught up. It's insane. It's insane. So the first thing was, all leading back to the freaking rain, the first thing was kind of, okay, I have a note card. I have a bunch of note cards that I pull from a stack each day. And like I pull multiple times a day that it says like all these things that are just good reminders. And I actually, the one I pulled that morning was accept everything as if you chose it. And that was basically the first message in this video. It's like, don't resist the... Oh my God, my fucking camera just fell. Hold up, bitch. Hold the fuck up. Which way does it go? Oh my God, this is fucking... Okay, it's fine. It's upside down. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, if you're watching on the YouTube, please subscribe. It's like, don't make me say it again. Okay, we're back. So the first one was like, yeah, don't resist things. Basically, like, don't resist things you can't change. Like, accept things, you know? And that doesn't mean accept shitty situations that you are able to change. I guess it's just like, accept the things you cannot control. Like, and a great example is weather. Like, if it's raining all day, if it's raining all week, don't sit there and be like, I wish it wasn't raining. It's like, well, that's an absolute waste of your time and energy. And it's like, why would you ever spend time resisting something that's just, you can do nothing about? So it's like, you know, it rained a ton a few weeks ago. And then last week it was like really pretty, and like I hiked every day, and I was just like, God, I needed to like hike and get out of the house and like go outside. And then it's like it started raining last night. It's going to rain today, tomorrow, possibly Wednesday. And it's like, instead of being like, God, I wish it wasn't raining so I can go on a hike. Oh my God, I might have to start again. Fuck, I can't. Let's keep going. So it's just like, and I feel like I'm guilty of this, and I thought this even before the rain. It's like, I had such a good week last week, and I feel like in my head now, I want this week to be exactly like last week. But this week isn't last week. It's its own week or whatever. Just accept it. Accept everything as if you chose it. Like, choose to accept it. Like, if something happens that was out of your control, be like, I'm just going to deal with this as if like that was the best outcome for me, and just accept it, because why waste energy resisting it? Fuck. What episode is this? 144? Let's roll with it. Redaction. And I should have started with this. Redaction straight up top. Courage Bagels, I apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game. And when I sort of bashed it, whatever episode that was, I felt bad about it, and it felt wrong, because I had one of the worst migraines I've ever had when I went to Courage Bagels for the first time, alone, shaking, nauseous, in just a world of pain. And I didn't do any research before I went. I just wanted something plain that day, and I got a plain sesame bagel with cream cheese. And I will stand by that it was too doughy and that there was too much cream cheese, but it's on me because I didn't order the right thing. So last week I went with my dad and my sister back to Courage Bagels, and my dad was like, they have this thing called the burnt everything bagel. And I was like, okay, I need that. Like, because I really like things a lot of times, like, yeah, I guess burnt. Like, I like my vegetables just really well done. You know, it's like, I like the just like flavor of the broil, of the scar, of the char. And I was like, okay, burnt everything. And I thought I was going to get, like, they have kind of crazy bagels there. It's like you can get all this shit on it. And I didn't know what I was going to get. That's the thing. And then I was looking at the menu and one caught my eye. And what I ended up getting was a burnt everything bagel with cream cheese, tomato, olive oil, lemon, salt, and pepper. When I tell you it was one of the single greatest things I've ever consumed, please believe me. It was fucking insane. And so my sister, I thought, got the same thing as me. Like, she ordered after me at the window, and I heard her say like the tomato, olive oil, lemons. I was like, oh, she got what I got. So when we like sat down and like, you know, they came in little boxes, and I just saw, like, I opened one and it was cream cheese and tomato. And so I was like, oh, this is mine. And then it turned out that my sister had gotten hers on a plain bagel, and we had each other's. So we each ate one half. It still was the best thing I've ever had. And she's like, wait, I think I have yours. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to freak out. It was that good that I didn't even notice that it was on a plain bagel. And my sister was like, first she was like, yours is like maybe a little too flavorful. And then we switched. So we each had one half of each other's, and she was like, yours is so much better. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so mad, because like she came up in that situation. Like, she ordered the wrong thing, and then she just got to have half of mine. But I'm glad, because I feel like she would have never tried it otherwise. So listen, I accept it. I accepted it, and we're moving on. Another redaction. And how do you say this? It's come to my attention that I've said Roubois wrong. It's not Roubois tea. It is, let's see. Rooibos tea, that's a redaction. I still think it's better to say Roubois. It's really up to you. Oh, I also quickly, while we're here, owe an apology to Pinkberry. I think it was just that specific location I was at where that woman gave me a fucking thimble of yogurt and I'm still not over it. And I've actually never had a good experience with that Pinkberry, but then the night before my birthday, I went out to dinner and then afterwards I went to Pinkberry and they gave me so much fucking yogurt and they didn't even know it was my birthday the next day. I was like ill. Like I was like, this is borderline too much yogurt. They hooked it up so hard. So once again, my apologies, Pinkberry. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. I have a little bit of a migraine, but nothing too crazy. All right, let's snap back. I mean, if it sounds like my scalp is just fucking, it's insane. It's insane what they did yesterday. I was scared because I was like, did I just like fall for something? Like TikTok fucking lied to me. I should have known. TikTok has never once lied to me. TikTok has never once set me, led me astray. Like I can't remember if I told you about my hair tool that I ordered from the TikTok shop. I mean, I know I talked about it, but I did receive it and let me tell you, I fucking love it. Let me tell you, it was a great fucking purchase. But I was nervous. I was like, halfway driving there, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I was like, I'm driving to San Gabriel to get a scalp treatment. Like, I don't know. Like, I missed ballet class because of it. I was just like, I have to do this right now. And I was like, oh my God, what if it's an absolute bust? But I was like, you know what? It's an adventure. And that was one of the pros on my list. It's an adventure. It's a new experience. I've done all my work. I've hiked. I feel good about what I've done. And yeah, after that, I was like, let me just relax and enjoy the experience. It's like, you're not going to get everything right all the time. And that's okay. And I was just like, whatever happens, happens. And honestly, it was one of the best freaking experiences. Like, it was an hour and a half. My hair is shimmering. Like, it was insane what she did. Like, it was just all these different tools. Like, I just love hearing it. Like, I love when she's like, okay, so this one's gonna like stimulate growth and like just like get rid of oil and bacteria. Like, this is gonna, this is a nourishing oil. Like, okay. I'm filming in a different way and it's scary. It's scary. This episode is so freaking unhinged. Okay, whatever. Just go with me. So yeah, my scalp is fucking popping off. Like, it doesn't matter. And it's like, it's raining now, so I can't go anywhere. But listen, what am I gonna do? I'm going to accept it. Okay, so last week, I'm not gonna like urge you to do dream work anymore. It's like, do what you fucking want. It's like Duolingo. It's like, it's changed my life. Do whatever you want with yours. So last week I was doing my dream work, and at the end you're supposed to do like an action. It's like you analyze it and then it's like, okay, so what's the action based off this collection, this data, like these fucking statistics from my unconscious. Like, what's an action I can take that will help me go forward, and I was literally lolling because like one of the first actions I took, because this was an example in the book, was like write a letter to yourself, whatever. And so I did that because I couldn't think of something else, and then I never got the letter. Like, I took it to the post office, which is like down the street from my house, mailed it, never got it. I'm screaming. So I was like analyzing and I couldn't really think of an action. I was like sometimes it comes to me easily and sometimes it doesn't. And I was like, okay, let me step away from this for a second. Like, let me like do my skincare. Like, let me not force it, And then when I went back to my notebook, I was like looking at it and it hit me. I was like, because it sort of had like a magical element to my dream. So my action was, I wrote, look for magic. And usually like, I think in the book it says this, it's like, try not to do one that's like kind of like abstract that you can't really like know if you did. Like, I mean, or it's like something you can't really measure. Like, think positive. It's like, okay, well, like, let's just make it a little more specific. So I was like kind of worried. I was like, this is like sort of vague and like not measurable, but I was like, actually, like I'm just feeling really good about it. And so that was what I, unintentionally or intentionally assigned my brain for the day. It was like, look for magic. And my brain grabbed onto that and it didn't let go. And I swear I had the most magical day on earth. Like everything I saw was fucking magical. Everything I saw was like hearts, like butterflies. I saw a fucking bunny, bitch. I saw a bunny on my freaking hike because now during my hike, I do 10 minutes of nature stillness where I just set my timer and I just stare into nature. Like that's it. Like it's not like a meditation. Like it's literally a stillness. And I always like try to like switch up the areas I do it in. And I was sitting on this bench that I always face one way on. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to face the other way. Like I kind of want to like look out at this like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Not 2 minutes in, a fucking bunny hops its ass out of a bush. And I was like, okay. If that's not magic, I don't know what is. It's like bunny in a hat. That hit me today. I didn't even fucking put that together the other day. And it's like, because I had told my brain to look for magic, and then it really hit me. It's like, your brain is so literal. It's like if I wake up and I tell myself, hey, this is my assignment for the day. Look for everything negative. Look for everything bad. Look for everything that doesn't go my way. Look for everything that's not perfect. Look for everything just kind of that's like a bummer and like sad. Believe you me, you'll find it. If that's what you tell your brain to do, that's what it will go look and find. As opposed to you tell your brain, look for magic. Now your brain's looking for magic, and that's what you see. Going back last week to the two women, one's vibing with me, one wants me to stop talking. Whichever one you look at is the one that's real. You have an opportunity every day to look at you tell your brain what to look for. It's like your life is what you focus on. That's the bottom freaking line. And I feel like I have to personally like tell myself like, look for magic, look for the good things, because not that I have a super negative brain, but I think it like is easy for it to default into, like a couple negative things happen. And it's like, sometimes that's hard to recover from. And you just kind of slant that way. But if you have this assignment from the beginning of the day, look for magic, I promise you'll find it. So now it's like, that was my action for my dream work. And I was like, is that a bad one? Like, could I not think of anything else? And then it ended up like low key changing my life. And every day now, just like on top of whatever the action is for that day, it's also look for magic. And yeah, like I went to the bathroom like after my scalp treatment because it was going to be a long drive back. And I was like, I better pee. And that is, an example of like, I resisted. Like when I first got there, they were like, do you have to use the restroom? And I'm like, no. And then like an hour and a half later, I'm like, might as well. And I went to hang my purse up when I got in the bathroom. And what should I see? The little hanger they had was a clear, gorgeous butterfly. And I was like, okay, I'm done here, folks. My business in San Gabriel is finished. My scalp is just electric and my hair looks incredible. Thank you to everyone who has joined the Patreon. It really does help me out, yeah, it just supports me. It supports me getting a scalp treatment so that I feel good, and that it makes me want to record an episode even if it's absolutely chaotic. So that is patreon.com/composed with Chase Bernstein. Oh God. Patreon.com/composed with Chase Bernstein. Subscribe, rate, and review, folks. I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard, and it's actually quite simple. Thank you so much. We're not done here. I know you thought class was done. It's fucking not. Oh, bitch, it's not. Oh my God. So Valentine's Day last week, like, it was so funny because I feel like on Valentine's Day, like, you can't make eye contact with someone without, like, it seeming like there's some, like, undertones to it. Like, I was just, like, walking on a hike, and it's like, I was like, I always just try to smile at people and whatever. And it's like every man, I mean, I guess I'll say woman too. It's like, who knows what they're going for. But it's like everyone I made eye contact with, there's just this extra look of like, oh, it was just like so charged. Like, people are just like looking for this, like, they're like, are you my soulmate? And it was like, I'm just saying hi, like, I'm just saying hi right now. But it was just like, you almost cannot like speak or make eye contact with anyone on Valentine's Day unless you're like trying to like hook up with them. It was just kind of weird. Okay, just a small little observation. I don't want to talk about the hike. I don't fucking want to talk about the hike, but things happen on the hike. I was going downhill. Usually I walk up this one hill backwards, but I was going down a hill and I was like, let me walk down this backwards. And it was like only me and this woman. And I had this thought, I was like, God, do I just look like such an idiot? Like, she's like this stupid bitch, like walking backwards. And I was like, whatever. And then I turned to my left and she's walking backwards. And she was like, I used to do this all the time and you just reminded me of it. Okay, let's pause and just reflect that. So I was like, should I not even do this? But it did enter my head that I looked sort of silly, but I was just like, to her. And then she ended up like triggering this great habit that she used to do. And then we were just talking and walking backwards, which was really hard because she was like kind of behind me. So I was like walking backwards and like kept trying to look at her. So I was like turning my neck. I was like, oh my God, if I fall right now. And she was just like, yeah, she's like, walking backwards is like so good for your body. It's so good for your mind. She was like, to do it the opposite way. What have I been saying so long? I've probably said it on this podcast once, but I say it to myself every day. Do opposites. And that was a factor too in deciding if I should just tackle this, impromptu scalp treatment being offered to me. Like, I was like, okay, I feel like what I should do is like, go to ballet class. And listen, this is hard to say. It's like, I like ballet. It's like when I'm there, I do like it. I like what it does. I feel so graceful from it. It is fun, but I do find myself looking at the clock a lot. And that's tough, like I don't want to be that person that's looking at the clock. And then it's like, I feel bad when the teacher sees me sometimes. Like, I'm just like, well, that must feel shitty. It's like you're teaching a class and like people are just, or I guess just me, someone's just looking at the clock. But it's like, I feel like I should go. Why? Because it's sort of a habit now, because I've been doing it, kind of off and on, not every Sunday, but a lot of Sundays since September. But it's like, I just don't love it. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's this class, like maybe a different class is something I would love, but it just really hit me. And yeah, so it was like, well, I can't go to my scalp appointment. Like, I have to go to ballet. And it was like, but do I even want to go to ballet? And it's like, what's the opposite of what I think I should do? Because what I think I should do is go to ballet because that's what I do. But what's the opposite of that? And if you haven't put it together at home, it's not going to ballet and getting a scalp treatment. So yeah, it's just like, yeah. And then it just hit me so hard. It's like, I freaking read this, I don't know, there was this thread on Twitter like 4 months ago. It was like John Mayer, who via Jessica Simpson's book, I don't love, but he had a good point. He was wishing for something to be over and he caught himself and he was like, I never wish for less time. Like when you're being like, oh my God, I wish it was just tomorrow. I wish this day was over. This day's going to be hard. I wish it was just tomorrow. You're essentially wishing for less time. And you shouldn't ever wish for less time. And it really freaking got me thinking. And I was just like, yeah, if I'm sitting in ballet, like looking at the clock and I'm like, oh my God, 3 minutes has gone by since I last looked at the clock. Like I'm in AP biology and I can't freaking stand it anymore. And yeah, I was in AP biology. Like don't freaking worry about it. Lord only knows what I learned. Couldn't tell you one thing. I don't know. But I guess at the time I was just like kind of thriving at it. But it's like, there's your sign right there. It's like, if I'm doing something and I'm looking at the clock, like thinking like, when is this over? Then that's not how I should be spending my time. Because if I'm wishing, I'm like, oh my God, we still have this much time left. Like, I don't want to live like that. Like when you're doing something you absolutely love, you don't even know what time it is. You don't even know if it's morning, noon, or night. Like you don't know anything. You just know that you're loving what you're doing. It's like when I'm watching the Nuggets absolutely just, massacre. Who have they massacred lately? I mean, they haven't been doing great, the hero's journey. But it's like when I'm watching a Nuggets game, I'm not like, oh, what time is it? Like, fuck, there's still 8 minutes left in the third quarter. It's like, then don't watch it, Like, I'm telling this to myself, don't spend time doing things where you're like checking the clock. Then it's like, then don't do it. Like, what's the point? Okay. This is a very like deep lecture-y episode, but I'm just sort of trying to sink them into my own brain, and hopefully it resonates with you as well. One last thing and then we'll go because I'm absolutely depleted. I read the best book. It was called The Book Thief. I heard about it obviously on freaking TikTok. And I have a whole list of books I want to read in one of my email drafts, and it's been on there for a while. Wasn't a priority, wasn't not a priority. A few weeks ago, donated some stuff to Goodwill, and I was like, let me just peek inside. I go like to the home goods section, and I never look at books at Goodwill. It just really overwhelms me. Like, it's just chaos. Like, there's so many books, and it's like, I don't know. I don't like feel like sitting here and like looking through all of it. But so I went into the home section and there was like, a dresser for sale, and there was a lamp on it and like a vase and a book. And what book was that? You might be asking yourselves, and don't worry, you won't have to wonder long. I'm going to tell you right now. It was The Book Thief. It was The Book Thief. It was just sitting there. I don't know if it just came in hot off the press and they hadn't put it in the shelves yet, or if someone had found it in the shelves and ultimately decided not to get it and not put it back. And it was like glowing. Like it was glowing in front of me. I was like, I touched it. It was hot. And I was like, I need it. Absolutely need it. I got it. I read it. It was one of the best books I've read in a really long time. Like one of the best, stories I've read in a really long time. And God, the writing was just on another level. And then at the end, there's always just some bullshit. Like, and it's like, I want to thank Susan. And it's like, okay, no one fucking cares about Susan. Like it's always just like fluff. And it's like, I get that you want to thank people, but like, don't expect me to like sit here and read a list of names I don't know. But this author, he just like had this whole thing. And usually I don't like when people like add stuff to the end. It's like, okay, I thought it was over, and it's like, now it's not done. And it's like, we're going to read more. But this was like arguably like as important to me as the book. Like he was just really gave a peek behind the curtain of his process. And he was just like, I don't know, reflecting back on writing the book. And he was like, yeah, like I wrote 150 pages with like this character being the narrator. And he included a page of one of those 150 pages, like to show you how different it would be, or just to show you like, not that anyone thought this, but it's like, you don't just like straight write a book. It's like, there's gonna be some hurdles. And he showed this page and I read it and I was like, oh my God, it's so wrong. Like it would have been so much less impactful than the way he decided to do it. And it's like, it just really inspired me. It's like, imagine writing 150 pages of a book and like you have this nagging feeling that you're like, it's not right. It's not right. And I feel like I've been in that situation before where it's just like, I can't even turn back now. Like, I just have to make this work. I mean, not in that exact situation, but it's like, what's the point of writing a book? Like, okay, let's say he wrote 3, that he's like, I can't stop. Like, I've already written 150 pages. I'm just going to keep going. And this book was 550 pages. He writes the whole book and he's like, it's just, I mean, you just have to stop. You have to fucking be willing to let go of something good, I think, to get something great. Because he originally, I don't think I'm spoiling anything. This is like on the first page, like Death is the narrator of the book. Like it's like a character and it's the narrator. And he had it that way first, but he was like, it just like he didn't have the tone right. So he scrapped it. And then he made like one of the main characters, the narrator. And that's what he wrote 150 pages of. And he was just like, it's not right. And he tried it other ways. And then he just kept coming back to this idea of Death being the narrator. And he was like, if you keep having the same idea, like there's something there. And then he ultimately went back to that and changed it. And so it was just like the exact tone he wanted. And it was just so cool to hear that. I don't know. And he had this thing that's also something like a character writes in the book, but he was like, those are my words. Like he's like, I've hated the words, I've loved the words, but I hope I did them right or something, or made them right. And I was like, I don't know, just sort of like being a writer myself and like getting back to my writer's roots, because that's what I always did. I was always writing. And like, I don't know, obviously I've written, like I write my stand-up, but it's like not the same. And I don't know, I feel like when I started to do stand-up, I was like, I can't believe, like I always wanted to be a writer. And I was like, I can't believe I wanted to be a writer. Like I was so wrong. Like I got it wrong. And now I'm just like, I don't think I got it wrong. Like I think I'm a writer. Like I think I'm just a motherfucking writer. Like it's what I've always done. You know, and like I used to think I didn't have that thing. Like I feel like people are like, oh yeah, I've been painting since I was 2. I've been super into this since I was like 11. And I was like, wow, I never had anything like that. And then I was like, of course I have. I've been reading. I taught myself to read when I was 4. I went to kindergarten and my teachers called my parents and they were like, so we're like teaching everyone how to read. They were like, do you know like your daughter knows how to read? And they were like, no. Just taught myself to read. I'm dead. Like I've always been reading and writing my entire life. And it was just like, because it was something that was so organic to me. Like it's not something I thought of like, I'm going to write now. That's what I always did. That's how I always expressed myself and like processed my feelings. And yeah, so it's like, I don't know. When I started performing, I was like, oh, I got it wrong. I'm not a writer. And it's like, bitch, I've been a writer. But anyways, it was so inspiring to like see this behind the scenes glimpse. And I've never done this in my life. Upon finishing the book and all the extra pages that he wrote, I wrote him on Instagram. I mean, I looked for like an email contact. He was like, hit me on Insta. And I was like, say less. And I just wrote him this whole thing on Instagram. Never felt compelled to write an author in my entire life. But I did, and he didn't write back. I don't expect him to, but I don't know. And I'm glad I did it in the moment. That's also a thing of like, do it now. Because if I was like, oh, I want to write him, and I was like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Believe you me, I would have been sitting here. I wouldn't have done it. Okay. So yeah, it's like, you got to act in the moment. You got to contact a writer on Instagram in the moment. You must seize the opportunity to get a scalp treatment in San Gabriel Valley, even though you weren't expecting it and it's less than 24 hours away. You just must do these things now, because who knows what tomorrow's bringing? Who knows what the next hour is bringing? who knows what the next episode is bringing. I know this episode brought a lot, and hopefully you can sift through some of the sand, some of the dust, and just extract a couple gems that will help you tackle the rest of February. It's been so real. It's been borderline too real. Subscribe, rate, and review. If you can, join the Patreon. Doesn't have to be much. Patreon.com/composed with Chase Bernstein. Subscribe on YouTube. Okay, bye.